just want to thank you all for being here. I know it's early Saturday morning, and some of us could have decided to take a day off and just relax. So I appreciate you all coming here. It's definitely shows how adamant we are about these issues and how we want to change the law school curriculum. I want to give a special thanks to Dean DeRobelant for being the architect of this wonderful symposium and bringing us all together. It's been a great environment these past 2 days. I felt like I've learned a lot, and hopefully we can bring these issues back to our institutions and definitely implement them and change the way law is taught. I want to preface what I'm going to comment on my experience by talking a little bit about myself, because we were asked to give our perspectives as students. So my name is Julian Bugarin. I'm an immigrant, and I grew up undocumented. I'm from a predominantly Latino immigrant community, and that's definitely shaped who I am and why I'm here and what I want to do with my life. I'm going to speak in my own words. I know there's a lot of brain power in the room, a lot of academia here, but I think it's important to speak in a language that's accessible to all audiences, and I think that's something that's lost in academia. So, being students of color in this environment, in a community that does not look like us, there's a big burden placed on us to speak out about issues that affect our communities. Whether you're a student of color or any other marginalized community, there is an expectation of us to speak about these issues. It may be a little hard because for a lot of us, this is unknown territory. It's uncharted waters. I know I'm the first in my family to even go to college, let alone law school, and I'm sure it's the same for a lot of us here. So when we do have to speak about these issues and when we're expected to speak about them, it puts a lot of pressure on us, and we react in a way that's emotional because that's where we come from. We see the way these policies affect our communities, and when we come out with that response, it becomes how can I say it? Disregarded, devalued. It becomes seen as a bias because other people in our classrooms, because of the lack of diversity, can't really understand where we're coming from. They come and tell us, if our professors or our other students that are meant to comment on what we say, oh, that's not a legal argument, so we shouldn't worry about that. That's not doctrine, right? Like for instance, criminal law. Criminals are equated with immorality, and for us, someone like me, some other people that come from the same background as me, that's someone's best friend, that's someone's brother, sister, that's someone's parent. They have names to them. They're not just a statistic, they're not just someone that we place under this doctrine, and it's not black and white for us. Our high emotional responses, they come from a fight or flight mechanism, because we see someone bashing our culture and our way of life, and we're not going to just stand there and take it. I don't give a damn if it's not a legal argument. I'm going to speak my truth. I'm going to speak from the heart, because heart is what got me here, and heart is what's going to lead me to what I want to do. Speaking about the classroom and pedagogy and professors and the way they react to some of these interactions, professors sometimes are uncomfortable to talk about these things. I'll tell you right now, if you look around this room, this is not what the law school environment looks like. Yeah. This is not the makeup of a classroom. So when we talk about these issues and the professor ignores it, they decide not to speak on it or address a certain racial interaction that may happen in the classroom, by not saying something, that also speaks volumes about the conduct accepted in the classroom. And this stems a lot from in the legal community. It doesn't look like us, and some professors are just not comfortable to speak on these issues. But as was said earlier by Joanne, cultural competence is a necessary legal skill. Race permeates all aspects of our culture, definitely including the law, because that's what affects our community. And just the way a lot of, like I was saying earlier about how our people are, brought into this light, and how we're addressed to in these doctrines, especially for a lot of cases that we've gone over this first year regarding sexual orientation. The context in which they're introduced is highly criminalized. We see people being prosecuted just for being who they are, right? And I think we can definitely introduce a different way of bringing these issues to the forefront. For instance, make a hypo, right, about a same-sex couple, something about a contract. I don't even know. I don't have all the answers. I'll be honest with you. I'm a student, and I'm definitely. It's important for students to bring in these perspectives, but it doesn't fall on us to implement them. It falls on faculty. It falls on the administration to bring these issues to the forefront. Yesterday, my professor, Gary Lawson, he commented on a few things saying that it's just not enough, there's not enough time. There's not enough time to talk about these issues. And with all due respect, I disagree. I definitely do. I think these issues should become mandatory. You should test us on these issues. Make it a course requirement to learn about some of these issues that affect marginalized communities. Sorry. Because we're doing a disservice to our curriculum if we don't bring these to the forefront. Excuse me, sorry. These issues enliven the classroom environment. They bring new perspective forward. Just because you're white doesn't mean race doesn't affect you. You know, race comes at a detriment to some of us, but it comes at a benefit to you. So learn about that. These are things that we're going to be interacting with in our profession. So we need to become competent in the things that we do. It's definitely an obligation to learn about social issues regarding race, sexual orientation, immigration. God forbid that we speak about the criminalization of the immigrant community, because that is virtually non-existent in the first year curriculum. And coming where I come from, I came here to go back and help my community, be a resource to the undocumented community, and I've yet to learn anything that's going to be of value to them. And especially the times that we're in now, and how my people are being thrown in cages, that's something that's needed, absolutely needed in our first year curriculum. And if I had more time, I'd be up here for ages speaking to y'all. I just want to say I appreciate y'all being here, and I really hope that we can bring these things back to our institutions and make a change, because it's 2020, y'all. It's too late. It's time to do it. So.